Hey there! So we are going to talk about something really cool. How many times have your brides asked you for a peony and it's off season? Either you're afraid you won't get them or they do come in and they just look a hot mess. So for that reason, it's always good to have a few tricks up your sleeve. And here's one of the tricks that has helped me so many times. This brides appreciate more than you will know. They don't necessarily care what it is you're creating. They just want to know and trust that you have the skills and the ability to make their dreams come to life. So you are going to give them peonies no matter what the season. We're going to start with one of these very standard, this is a sweet avalanche rose, and there's nothing fancy about this. The reason I like this rose to create it, to make it a peony, is because it has a softer center. It's got lots of petals. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take this rose and make it look like this peony. So we wire these and I place them on a cardboard mat so that they can be fed into a bouquet or even work into a centerpiece, and you're going to get that peony look using your traditional rose. Want to get started and learn this fun little trick? Alright, so I'm going to cut out a cardboard circle, and that is going to be the base for my peony. So you see here, this peony, this rose peony, is on a cardboard base. And size-wise, I like it about the size of a silver dollar, a little bigger than a quarter. Then you're going to need the 18 gauge wire. You can even use a heavier gauge if you want. 18 seems to be the one that I'm most comfortable with. I get the longer wires, and this is just one wire cut in half, which works really, really well. The cardboard can be kind of tough to get through with these wires, so I take my knife and I'm just going to score 2 slits on either side where they come together. And you may not be able to see this, but this little tip here will make a big difference in wiring the cardboard. So to get started with the wiring, we're going to fold this in half. If you watch some of our other tutorials, you've seen me do this before. Taking the wire and literally just creating a U and folding it right like that. Then I'm going to take this fold and I'm going to feed it through those slits I created. And you see they're going to come straight through. I'm going to feed them all the way in. And then I'm going to come around with my second one. And just like that, I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to feed it right through. I'm going to feed it right through, I promise. Sometimes a little trickier than others. So the reason I do 2 wires is just to give you a little bit more strength. Once they're in there, I'm just going to squeeze them together. And I've got my floral tape, which I'm going to take and just create a false stem by just wrapping the floral tape around my wire all the way down. There we go, super simple. So now we have our base for our peony to go on. I like to load up the top of this base with my glue before I even cut my flower. So many times when you see me work with glue, I talk about just putting a little bit of glue on, but this one I want to put a lot of glue. So I'm really loading this up. And then I'm going to let it sit, and I'm going to let the air get to it for a little while. Really, the amount of time I need it to set is going to be just about the amount of time it's going to take me, you can stay there, to get to the next step with my rose. So these sweet avalanche come with these beautiful, it kills me taking these off, these beautiful little buds that in any other circumstance I would love, but in this case not so much. I'm also going to pull off some of these guard petals that are lower just because they're not going to stay as well. And even though they're pretty, I do love my guard petals. Alright, I'm going to pinch off the rose just like this, and I'm going to rock it off its base almost like I'm going to petal the rose. Rock, rock. I don't want to damage anything. Twist at the end and just pull it out. It should come out in a complete piece like this. So you've got the inside of your rose right there. I'm then going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut straight across the top of this rose. What this is going to do is going to create a flat base for me to attach it to my cardboard base. Ooh, that glue is settling in really nice. So I'm just going to chop this. This also breaks my heart a little bit. This is the top of the rose, not the bottom of the rose. I'm going to chop it straight across. So there we have this nice flat section. And my glue should be about ready. I don't know if you can see there, it's got a little bit of ribbing in it, a little bit tacky. And I'm going to press this tacky glue against the rose multiple times. This is going to get some of that tackiness inside those petals. I want to make sure every petal has got glue on it. It gets a nice messy stickiness. Once you get it to where you feel like it's sturdy, usually 3 or 4 presses should work. You're going to go ahead and turn it over. Now I need to give this a second to settle because the glue, there's lots of it. When you have less glue, it'll hold a little faster. All right, so now that we're at that point where it's settled and it's firm, I'm then going to hold it in place just a bit. I'm going to start to work these inner petals out. Remember, this is the inside, the underneath of a rose, so it's a little bit tight in there. I find it's always nice to use roses that are a couple days old. They are going to work a little bit better for this process. Oh, you see it? Now it's starting to bloom our peony. Oh my gosh, so perfect. That is like magic. Isn't that beautiful? And off season, this popped into a bouquet is going to give you that luxurious peony feel every single time. So grab some roses, practice this technique. It'll really be helpful for you your entire wedding season. Every week when you get new roses in, try it with a new rose. You're gonna find your favorites. This one happens to be my favorite. Have fun, guys.